Oh, this is not going to end well. Okay. Hi. Can't eat that. That's paper. Hello fellow earthlings, it's Libs, and today I'm going to be doing a ginormous book haul. So as you probably know, I don't love to do book hauls all the time. I just find it tends to inspire just a lot of consumerism, but I do have a weak spot for books, and I've been collecting these books for about 4 months, so I think it all balances out a bit. So let's get on into it. So the first book I picked up is Where the Crawdads Sing by Deadlier. I'm sure you've seen this book. A lot of people have been talking about it recently, and it's received a lot of hype. I don't really know much about this, except that it's set in North Carolina, and I thought this would be a really interesting read considering I was meant to be going to America, but then this happened and I'm definitely not now. So I thought this isn't exactly where I was going to be going in America, but it's close enough, so I think I will enjoy this book, and it'll be interesting to read about a part of the world that I don't know anything about. I know absolutely nothing about North Carolina, so that should make this an interesting read. The next book I picked up is Zami, A New Spelling of My Name by Audre Lorde. Again, this is another book I know nothing about.
2,000 years later.
I feel like I should have more to say than that, but I don't really. I've just heard quite a bit about this author, and I was really interested to read some of her work. And so when I saw this at a very tiny local bookstore, it had a bookmark in it. Okay, that's nice. And now my dog is sniffing the bookmark and wants to eat it. Very good. But I saw this and decided that since I've never seen this book in person before, I'd pick it up, because I always like to try and buy from small booksellers when I can. Hi. Can't eat that. That's paper.
Stop it. Get some help.
But I'm really interested to read this and get to understand this author a little bit better and learn about her story, because I know it's kind of based on her real life, I think. So I'm really interested to understand a bit more about this. So now a book that is definitely not going to be heavy, and that is The Princess Bride by William Goldman. This is my favorite film, I think, of all time. Yeah, it's my favorite film of all time, so I really wanted to read the book, particularly because I know the structure is quite different from the film, and considering I've done a uni essay about the film, I feel like it would be really interesting to read the book and compare them, and that might be useful in my studies later on as well if I ever get another opportunity to write about The Princess Bride, which we all know is all I ever want to do all the time anyway. So I'm really keen to read this. I think it might be my next read just because I'm super keen to read it, and I also love this cover of it as well. I think it's really, really cool. The sticker does slightly ruin it, but hey, I got a good deal on it, and this was from another local bookshop. The next book has been on my wish list for years. Oh, there's a dog outside. But I've had this book on my wish list for such a long time, so I'm really glad I picked this up. It's All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Dear. I'm not 100% certain, but this won the Pulitzer Prize in 2010. I want to say 2010. I might be lying. I think I'm lying. Is this like published in Okay, so 2014, so it must have been 2014, 2015. So not that long ago. But I have wanted to read this book from the moment it was released, and I finally picked it up. I know this book is about a blind French girl and a guy who is forced to be a Nazi, I think. Or he was an orphan and the Nazis take over and now he's a Nazi, but I'm not really sure, but I think it's meant to be a love story between the two. Yes. The German orphan, destined to labour in the mines until a broken radio fills his life with possibility and brings him to the notice of the Hitler Youth. So I think that must be, well, that is a better description than what I can give. I haven't read it yet, but I am super excited to read this. I just haven't done it yet because I feel like this is going to be quite heavy. I know it will be beautiful, but I know it's going to be heavy, and I just have not been in the mood to read something heavy this year when it's been like this. Next, I have one of the most popular books of the year, and that is The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett. I know it's about two white passing sisters and the different directions their lives take as they grow up. I think it's about them coming back together after some time apart. And I'm really interested to read this. Everyone has been raving about this book this year, so I'm a bit embarrassed that I haven't read it yet, but I'm super, super keen to. And this is very high on my TBR too, and it looks like it's not going to be a particularly long read because it's quite large font as well, so I'm really keen to get on to this book. Next, I have one of the fanciest books that I have, and it is The Princes in the Tower by Alison Weir. This is the Folio Society edition, which I bought secondhand. You can see the beautiful cover. I mean, just look at that. It's incredible. It's gorgeous. I am so keen to read this. I'm kind of scared too because it's just such a beautiful copy, but I'm really excited to read some more non-fiction, and particularly about a topic that I'm so interested in. I love that on the end pages it's got the family tree, so that it gives you a point of reference. Oh, I love these kinds of books, and I'm so excited to read it. It's also got illustrations at some points, which I'm really keen to look at closer. I am so excited to read this. That'll definitely have to wait until the new year, but this is just such a beautiful copy, and I'm so excited that this is my first Folio Society book. Yeah, I think if you're interested in Folio Society books, keep an eye out for used book sales or fairs, because I know that quite a lot of when I bought this, there were a lot of different books. I think they had like all the Sherlock Holmes books in pretty much new condition, which was amazing. There was another one that I know I'll be getting for Christmas that I saw at that book sale, so I really recommend it, doing something like that if Folio Society books are something you're really interested in but can't quite justify the $60+ price tag. And then the last book I have to show you is an absolute whopper. I think we all made the joke that it's essentially like carrying a brick around, and that is Deadlier, 100 of the best crime stories written by women, chosen by Sophie Hannah. Oh, this is huge and heavy. It's gorgeous. I mean, it's glorious. It's huge. Yes, and slightly sun damaged, but you know, being able to get this for like a fraction of the price it normally goes for, I can deal with a little bit of sun damage. So this is a collection of 100 short stories about crime, including crime, referencing crime, that were written by women. I haven't read that many of them yet. I'm only a tiny bit of the way through. So far, I really like some of the stories, and then there are a few that I'm not quite sure where the crime exactly fits in, but I guess some of them are more like criminal acts and others like crimes of passion or crimes of the heart or something like that. So I think it just depends on your definition of what can constitute a crime. But it's really interesting. There's a lot of writers and authors that I've wanted to read but haven't got around to it. Like, I didn't know that Louisa May Alcott actually wrote some short crime stories, and one of hers has been is my favorite in this book so far. But there's just so many writers who've got stories in here. Yeah, so you have like Louisa May Alcott, Margaret Atwood, there's some Agatha Christie, Daphne du Maurier, Elizabeth Gaskell, Charlotte Perkins Gilman, Shirley Jackson,
2 hours later.
Val McDermott, Donna Tartt. Yeah, there's a lot of famous authors in this book. This is going to take me a really long time to finish. I'm kind of just working through like one story a night at the moment, just so I kind of can remember what all the different stories are and don't get overwhelmed or forget, because I'm a little bit nervous I would. And also, I mean, would you look at these end pages? They've got, I'm not sure if you can see, but they've got little skulls. They're so cool. I love it. It's just so cool. And they've got other books like this in this series. Somewhere, hang on, what else do they have? So this is published by Head of Zeus. They also have the story Love, Loss and the Lives of Women, 100 Great Short Stories. That Glimpse of Truth, 100 of the Finest Short Stories Ever Written. Ghost, 100 Stories to Read with the Lights On. And Desire, 100 of Desire, 100 of literature's sexiest stories. Which was I like it's got who it was chosen by and then the erotic review. So I feel like that could also be quite an interesting read. I haven't seen any of those other books anywhere, but I think if you see this one, there's just so much to choose from in this book, and so many different authors, so many different stories. I feel like it could be really interesting if crime is a genre you want to read a bit more of, but you don't really want to buy a whole heap of books. You can just get a lot of short stories in this one. And that is my book haul. Whew. That was... Trying to film in summer is not something I would recommend. Oh, and my dog is crying, so I think that means it's time to end this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that jazz, and I will see you next time. Bye.